Hello, this is Luke. I am doing my summary for my understanding of certain topics. So let's jump right in. So the process and the purpose of reading. So the process of reading is taking individual letters and attaching sounds to these letters, and then blending these sounds together to make words, and then string those words to form thoughts and string similar thoughts until you have like a story or a cohesive paragraph, and then it is what the brain does with written language. The purpose of reading is to expand ideas, to learn, to imagine, to relax, to convey ideas, to share information, any of those things. The role of morphology and contextual analysis to have on vocabulary development. Morphology allows you to know the sounds and to create words. And if you study those sounds, then you should be able to read any word. Now, can you understand every word? That depends on your comprehension and your level, but you should be able to read any word if you know all your letter sounds that the language makes. The contextual analysis allows the students to learn the meaning of the words by how it is used in the sentence. For younger learners, though, this might be more difficult since they might not have the vocabulary to understand every single word, every other word in the sentence. But for more older students, it should not be too much of a problem. Evidence-based practices for teaching phonemic awareness to English learners. This relates also to morphology, from what I just talked about, and it just makes being able to read the words easier. My own personal students, they can be my evidence and how I teach phonics. I teach them to break down the words into their individual letter sounds like k, at, cat. And then so they can blend them together, and then they can achieve some form of competence in reading. It definitely also does come with practice. I also see how well they can apply their phonics by having them try and read a word that they do not know, and then so that shows me if they need more practice in their phonics. How an English learner's home language can be utilized to support and strengthen the development of foundational phonics in English. So if they speak a different language at home compared to what they're learning in the classroom, any language at home does help, especially in the beginning stages of learning a new language. Their home language will have sounds, obviously, and so a lot of those sounds will probably also carry over to English. The students then can apply those same sounds into English. There are instances, however, where it doesn't match up. For example, in Korean, the Korean language does not have the Z, that Z sound. So making that sound does not come naturally to a Korean person. If they're presented the word zoo, they will often say it as Jew, since they have that U sound in the Korean language already, so that's not a problem. But since they don't have the Z sound, they will substitute that with the J sound. And so it's easy for a lot of students to not realize these differences. However, having a small thing like that does not outweigh the fact that having a home language is better than not having one at all. The necessary components to achieve effective comprehension, including well-developed language, multi-higher order thinking processes, and self-correction. So they need a great foundation and understanding of the language to begin with before any of those things can happen. If the vocabulary of the student is very large, it makes it a lot easier to learn new words because they can take it out in the context and learn what those words mean. This also creates critical thinking. So if something doesn't make sense, they can either ask a teacher or find another resource that can help them understand a topic better. If they hear they are reading and they do not like how it sounds, or if it doesn't sound right, they can correct that problem. And they will know that they will make a mistake, and it makes they made a mistake and that it needs correcting. In my personal elementary school students, I have them record some reading assignment for their homework. And so it's really awesome that sometimes I even hear them make their own correcting. And so it makes my job even easier because they're actually learning and they know how things work. And then how evidence-based practices can be utilized to improve comprehension in English learners, including those with learning difficulties and dyslexia. Definitely the use of visual aids will help, especially with understanding. Repetition is a great tool, whether it's oral repetition or written repetition. That will help with spelling and whatnot. And once it gets stored into like the long-term memory or the muscle memory, it's very difficult to change it. Though this can also create rote learning, so that they can do the work, but they might not understand the work itself. And so that is my vlog.